This is exactly why having a hall pass should not be a thing. Because that married woman thought that it would be okay to do that because that man is famous. Well, imagine her surprise when her husband later on filed for divorce. And I am totally on the husband's side because it is so disrespectful for her to not only talk about something like this, but to actually do it. And we are not blind. We can all see that it was very obviously her that was pushing for that interaction. And it wasn't even just the kiss. That was a pure invitation from her to that man for probably anything. It is so disrespectful to her husband and to the marriage. Once that level of disrespect is there, honestly, there's no going back, and all it takes is the right opportunity.
I cannot believe I used to hate men. I swore off men. I said, "Ugh, I'll never date another man again." And now I just baked a man a heart-shaped strawberry cake just because he had a really hard week at work. Like, he is my little angel baby. I will cut every single strawberry into a heart for him if he really wanted to. Oh, I love him so bad.
That is the kind of love that every man dreams of. Tell me I'm wrong.
If you're a woman who's accused a man of doing something to you, and then all of a sudden you got caught and you were lying about everything, you should serve all the time that he was going to have to serve.
If you are mad at your man because he hasn't asked you to be his Valentine yet, and you've been in a committed relationship with him for some amount of time, like maybe you're even married to him, that man is your husband, but you are mad at him. You've been mad at him the entire month of February, maybe even January, because he hasn't asked you to be his Valentine. I just want to give you another perspective, okay? If this is the thing that's bothering you, like this is the biggest dilemma in your relationship, this is the biggest thing that you've been holding in that's bothering you, girl, you need to count your blessings. Because honestly, especially when you're married, if this is the biggest thing that is like grinding your gears right now, you are so obviously married to a good man that does multiple things for you. And if you learn to appreciate those things and don't get mixed up in all of the commercialized stuff and all of the people on social media that are telling you that your man should do this or that, or he doesn't love you, that is BS. Don't listen to them and just stay home and appreciate that man.
Ooh, not tonight, babe. I'm really tired. Maybe tomorrow.
All too often this happens, and I think that women oftentimes do not realize how negatively this impacts their relationship. But the truth is if this is happening continuously, this is a symptom of something going wrong in the relationship. And it definitely takes two people to recognize that. But it's definitely a touchy subject. And I understand that because it's sort of like a big indicator of how good your relationship is. And people can become defensive over that. But I'm telling you, if you care deeply about your relationship lasting a long period of time, the defensiveness needs to stop. And the understanding that this is an issue for one person to have a very much unmet need. Honestly, I think both people are going through having an unmet need. They just don't recognize it. So just step one, understand it's a problem and do something about it. Talk about it.
You've been planning this in your head. You've been dating this person until you hated them. So made it really easy for you to walk away.
And then you wonder why men would rather be single and avoid the emotional trauma of a woman pretending to love him while she actually is just building enough resentment up to leave him. Most people do not want to hear this, but the truth is that real relationships that last involve a lot of forgiveness because you have to accept that your partner is not perfect and will hurt you and disappoint you and upset you. You just have to figure out if you're willing to go through the ups and downs with them. The answer to this question will be because of who they are and because of who you are. I'm sorry, but if you get upset at the man that really liked you from the start, but you didn't really like him, but you decided to give him a chance and then you got attached, goes from texting you all of the time to forgetting to text you good morning and good night, he did not suddenly lose feelings for you. He simply came to the realization that you don't like him very much because you weren't reciprocating. Because above all else, he wants to be appreciated and desired just like you.
Serious question for the men. Where in the world are all of the loyal ones at?
They're either working, chilling, or quite frankly, ignoring people. And I feel like I keep on having to answer this question.
Y'all done talked so long and said so much foolishness that they decided to just walk away and leave you alone.
Can we talk about the man that sacrifices his peace every day in order to keep his family together? He's the one that says sorry. He's the one that completes the to-do list. He's the one that listens but doesn't express because he values his commitment above all else. And it's not that he necessarily sacrifices his happiness because he finds his happiness within his family. But that man deserves better.
You know, when you've been single for a while and you start to find comfort in your own company and you like to do things alone, and you have solitude in the silence, that desire to really want to find somebody starts to dwindle. You know, you don't want to trade your peace for conflict and argument. And when you meet people, the smallest things will turn you off because you're like, buddy, you about to ruin my fishing.
That, like what you just said, is like a mating call to all men. Rest in peace to your DMs, because literally every man that thinks the same way, because either he's been single for a while because he has high standards, or he's been in a long-term relationship and it was toxic, it like ruined his perspective on relationships. That man also probably enjoys hobbies that he can do either by himself in solitude or with one or two friends. That man is hearing you as a woman think the same way. It means that you're a unicorn and he's going to want to get to know you. If only more women knew this and understood this, there would be a lot less single people out there in the dating pool.
I saw this man say, if a man being your man is not enough to evoke the highest level of respect and devotion from you, what does that say about you? I don't know.
No, he likes you when he's proud to tell other people that you're together. When he's like proud that you're his girl. You know? If they're hiding you or they don't want to show you off to their friends, red flag.
Actually, a lot of guys won't do this simply because he doesn't know where you stand in the relationship. So for one, he doesn't want to creep you out if he's making wild assumptions. And two, he thinks like 80% of the time, he thinks that he's about to get ghosted because he's been through that before. And that is a stark reality for a lot of men. This has a lot to do with what is expected of men in the early stages of dating. And because of that, if a relationship that he's posting online, if it suddenly ends like a week later, or even more embarrassing, days later, he just doesn't want to have to explain it. Guys already have a hard time with this. Like, he would rather go dark. He would rather just and not anyone know. I will say though, for the benefit of those men that are listening to this right now, is that it does work this way for women. Because if she is showing you off on her social media, it is because she thinks highly of you. She respects you. She desires that long-term relationship with him.
So I have a question for men that are using online dating apps. Like, if you like somebody and they match with you, do you talk to them? Because I have like 10, 15 dudes just hanging out that I've matched with, but they haven't said anything to me. Like, I don't get it. If I matched with someone that I liked first, it's so I can talk to them and it's exciting and I message them. But men don't seem to do that. So what's the deal? Like, why?
It's honestly because men get tired of carrying the conversation. That man probably wrote several other women questions and gave them compliments, and all he received in response was one word. Men are trying. It's just that 95% of women that they match with, they either unmatch or they never respond, or they just give the one-worded answers. Or they're scammers. So yeah, men are just tired, ladies. They're tired of it. That man is a bowling green flag. Because he's either just being authentically himself and he doesn't care what other people think, or he's just being funny and he's purposely trying to get you to laugh, which are both really good things.
Modern women continue to say that men nag, men low-key try to humble you, but then this is the type of stuff that they share on TikTok. A man, like she said, might have been trying to joke with you, might have been trying to play around, and even if he was serious, why do these things become an ick? You acting like the man he's cringe. He's like about to do something to you. Shut up and enjoy the game. Put the phone down and enjoy each other's company. That's why men aren't dating you guys. That's why men aren't getting married. That's why men are ignoring you. They're not protecting you. They're not helping you, because you always find a way, even when they are doing all of those things, to make fun of them. Get a grip.
One time I dated a guy who was going to take his mom out to eat, and I was not allowed to go with them. So I had called this guy, and I was like, oh, okay, what are we doing tonight? It was Saturday night, and he said that he was going out to eat with his mom. And I thought that meant that we were going out to eat with his mom. So I was like, oh, okay, like that sounds good. And he was like, well, no, just me and my mom. And I was like, why can't I go? And it was because him and his mom don't get to spend a lot of time together anymore. So he was just going to go with his mom. But then, obviously, I went too. And I sat in the backseat. So basically, the moral of the story is if you are dating a guy and he goes to take his mom out to dinner and doesn't want to bring you, you should run.
That guy dodged a bullet because here he was wanting to have some one-on-one time with his mom, but he also didn't want to get into a fight with this girl that he was seeing. That is a hard spot to be in, but I'm here to tell you guys that you should set boundaries. Whatever it was that caused this relationship to break up, whether it was him holding that boundary or it was just her having a problem with how she was treated on the date because she had to take the seat in the back. Either way, he ended up being saved from a future relationship in which he basically wouldn't have been able to do anything without that woman's permission. Funny guys are dangerous. They'll make you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And then poof, you end up with one of these. I have said this before and I will say it again. By the way, honey, why do you still talk to my ex?
Huh?
Why do you still talk to my ex?
Because he's my father.
I don't know. There was this one girl who was telling me about how her boyfriend cheated on her 7 times. I was like, that is awful. But what is amazing is the fact that he had 7 opportunities. You kept giving this brother chances.
Oh no, this is why I need curtains. Look, I don't want to refilm this, so I'm just going to say it with this glaring bright light in my eyes. Look, women, this is what men are talking about when they say you need to take accountability for your decisions. Like, if you're going to allow this in your life, you have to take accountability for it. To me, and like all men, it is a clear no-brainer. Like, there's no circumstance in which this should be tolerated. Like, you should step back. If you guys are in a situation, in a relationship, and you're like confused and it's muddied and there's all these details and justifications, just step back and say it to one other person, right? Say, oh yeah, he's cheated on me twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. All right. That might make you realize what you need to do next.
So you mean to tell me if you don't text me back, it's okay because you're busy, but if I don't text you back, all of a sudden I don't love you anymore? When you put it that way, it's okay. Exactly!
We need to study this because that man just won a disagreement with a solid point and his wife understood and agreed. Seriously, that man is winning at life because he came at it in a very logical perspective, pointing out the double standard, and his wife listened. I think that's cool. I think that's what's needed a lot of times in these relationship dilemmas when there are double standards. I think that we need to listen to a man's perspective and a man needs to hear a woman's perspective. So number 1, listen to them. Like, just stop talking and listen to. Number 2, just have an open mind. Really consider what they're saying. And then I'll add in a third, bring some levity. Okay, if it's a mistake that you've done, you've made, laugh, smile, make him laugh and smile. Get over it, move on, be happy.
Every single man that I know will always tell me that a cute girl is way more attractive than like a super hot, like Victoria's Secret model type girl. Literally heard every single one of my guy friends talk about this before and it stuns me. And then I just saw a dude make a video like this and I had to weigh in. And like, I don't know what it is. Like, girls, tell me if I'm wrong or not. But when a dude calls me cute, I'm almost like, I'm sorry, what? Cute? Me? No, you got the wrong girl. But actually, it's apparently way better to be cute than it is to be super hot. 95% of men, if you put a cute girl, super cute girl next to a super hot girl, you put them side by side, 95% of men are gonna pick.
This is absolutely true because cute equals nice, genuine, and down to earth, whereas hot can include bad attitude and arrogance. So yeah, for guys, when they're calling somebody cute, it's because of their personality combined with their outward appearance, whereas hot can just mean outward appearance.
And don't forget, these are women saying what hot is and what hot isn't. They call 80% of the men ugly, but almost darn near 100% of the women hot, smoking, drop dead gorgeous. And then you look at them and you be like, this woman ain't all that cute. Oh, well, you got to look at this. I don't have to look at nothing. She's not that cute. Get out of my face.
These are 9 phrases that men can receive from women that might seem like a compliment, but absolutely are not. They are red flags. Number 1, if only I could find someone like you. But you have found someone like him because he's literally right there in front of you. 2, if I'd ever want a boyfriend, I'd want someone like you. If that were true, I'm telling you, she would drop the I don't want to date anyone right now and she would date you. 3, you are treating me too good. That is a big sign that she is used to dating the bad boy, and that is what she is attracted to. She's not attracted to you. 4, why can't more guys be like you? Same reasoning as the last one. She doesn't see the good guys because she's not attracted to the good guys. They are invisible to her. 5, I don't deserve you. She is telling on herself, guys, because she truly does not deserve you. 6, you're too nice. It goes along with 3 and 4. She's not attracted to the good guys. 7, you're the first guy to ever treat me right. 8, you're not like the other guys I've met or dated. Guys, these might all seem like compliments, but I'm telling you, she's about to try to throw you in her friend zone. And if she hasn't yet, she's about to tell you that she's not looking for a relationship right now.
He performs a Heimlich, but then gets called into HR. Yes, that's what happened to my brother. So he works for a company that has an on-site cafeteria. Went down for lunch, and one of the girls on the team started coughing really bad. He did this whole motion. My brother quickly gets up because he was sitting next to her and does the Heimlich, which then dislodges or whatever that was stuck in her throat. She turns around, she say, hey, thank you so much. And 2 days later, he gets called into HR. They stated that there's an investigation open on him for SA. Apparently, she reported him for SA because she felt the touch during the Heimlich was inappropriate. Their bodies were too close and that she could feel his private. They took his statement. They said they're going to investigate. So he said it took about a week or so. They called him back in and they said that he was cleared.
This is why we can't have nice things. This is what's being ruined by some of you ladies that are complaining about a man opening in the door, giving you his seat, giving you the Heimlich maneuver to save your life. Okay, this is obviously next level, but the saddest part to me is that even if she is completely delusional, which she is, right? We live in such a climate right now that HR actually couldn't just laugh in her face. Like they actually had to open an investigation and talk to this man. Every single man and woman should be upset about this type of situation. And there should be consequences for making false accusations because we know that even though that man's name could be cleared, like his reputation could very easily be ruined and he could easily lose that job. He could easily never be hired for that same type of work ever again. It is so messed up. I have said this before and I will say it again. A woman is taught her entire life how to be treated by a man, but not how to treat a man. And a man is taught his entire life how to treat a woman, but not how to be treated by a woman.
It seems like she's a little bit overwhelmed, and yeah, he's noticing.
But why does that look like that's bothering you? Because I bet you anything, that man knows that it's bothering you. It's probably why he's saying that it's just a sore throat. Like he probably has so many other symptoms, but he knows that he shouldn't be telling you because you'll run him through the ringer or you'll think less of him. You'll think that he's weak instead of this big, strong man. Newsflash, men do get sick. And they want to feel comforted. Ladies, if you could see this as such a good opportunity, it's like served on a platter for you to make that man feel good. You could do the simplest thing. You could warm up some Campbell's chicken noodle soup and he would feel amazing for that. You could line it with Ritz crackers. You could butter them. There's such simple stuff that you could do for this man, and it would make him feel like a king. Trust me.
Nader says, who needs enemies outside the home when you have one in the home? Sweet Leaf said, could you imagine if someone complained about their wife or girlfriend like that? No Name Cuz said, if I can't feel and or look vulnerable in my own house, then it isn't a home. Where can I find all the good men? Why won't a good man pick me? Where are the high value men? Where are the rich men? I want a generous man. I want a loyal man. Y'all run him off. Y'all scare him off with this type of stupid stuff. Once again, the man in his own home, he's in his own home, trying to chill out. But y'all have something stupid to say. And then not only do you have something stupid to say, you post it on the internet for all of the other women to make fun of him. Amazing.
I won't be able to pay this month's rent.
What rent?
This month's rent. I can't pay it.
What rent?
The mortgage. I can't pay the mortgage this month.
I pay the mortgage and it's already been paid.
Oh, well, I can't pay next month's then.
I've never asked you to pay next month's mortgage.
Well, I can't pay it.
That is no surprise to me. You've never paid the mortgage. Why would you start voluntarily paying the mortgage?
I just can't pay it, babe.
All right.
This man is a walking green flag. And it's not because he's a man that's always paying the mortgage. That's not the green flag, because I don't want to feed into the rhetoric that men have to pay for everything and women are just there for the ride. What makes him a green flag is his absolute matter-of-factness. I mean, there he is playing Legos with his wife. His answers demonstrate that he is very solidified in his position in the marriage. He knows what he's responsible for and he knows what she's responsible for, and there's no lingering wants for her to provide more or for him to provide more. They're just good. That's the green flag. The whole relationship is a green flag.
Where do I find the men who don't mind if there's a little hair downstairs? Asking for a friend.
As with most things, it kind of depends on how much. If it's really just a little, most men don't care. If he does care, don't worry, he will let you know. But what I can say most men care about is whether or not you're going to be asking these provocative questions online when you start dating him.
Here's a list of useful things in our house that I can't use. Because here's our air fryer that we use every day. But it can't stay on the counter where we use it every day. It has to go in its dungeon. Because here's our coat hanger where I could walk in and put my coat up every night, but I'm not allowed to hang it on the coat hanger. Because here's my cup on the counter, but it just can't be on this counter. It has to be in the specified cup counter over here. Because this is our footstool where you can kick up your feet and relax on your couch. But we can't do that. It's got to stay perfectly spaced in the middle of the room. Because
that man either has the patience of an angel or is completely defeated. This is a prime example of how a woman will want to keep things in a very particular way in the house versus a man that just wants to be comfortable and he wants to use things in a very logical way. It's really hard for men to want to do these things on repeat simply because his wife wants to. But a lot of men, absolutely, they will do it because they're compromising. But I tell you ladies, what that man would really love is some reciprocation of that compromise. So like maybe you can be okay with the footrest being moved so that he can sit down and relax. Or maybe you'll allow just one item to be hung on the coat rack. Compromise, ladies. Just compromise. The worst thing that you can do is finally find a good guy and then get comfortable with all of the great things he's doing for you. You don't show appreciation. And it is so easy to make a man feel appreciated because they literally never get compliments. I mean, you can compliment him on the most random thing. Like, you could tell him, I like your neck. And that would last him a year. Trust me.
Y'all are gonna hate me for this, but I unfortunately think it's true. In dating, I think it's very appropriate and necessary for women to have a roster. More accurately, I think it's important for women to rotationally date, meaning they're going on dates with several men at a time. Whereas for men, I believe it's really important to focus on one girl.
What's crazy to me is that this woman is giving this advice and then she waits to the very end to say that she can't do rotational dating because she doesn't feel like she can love like that. She likes to give her attention to one man at a time. Like at this point, I'm not even sure. Is she just trying to eliminate her competition? Because if a man that's really interested in you, if he finds out that he has competition that you're entertaining, let alone an entire roster, that is a big turnoff. And it makes sense why, because men do have to put in a lot of energy when it comes to dating, especially during the early stages. So how is he going to want to do that with somebody that is not a good investment? Someone that very likely might just ghost him the next day. So if you're going to follow this advice, the only thing I'll say is that you have to be open and honest about it. You have to tell that man that you have a roster. And as long as you do that, well, we'll see how many hang in there.
They say this type of stuff wastes a man's money and then wonder, where are the good men at? Why won't a man approach me? Why can't I get a man to really yearn and court me?
Does a guy ever hit on you and it genuinely hurts your feelings because of how much of a loser they are? Like, the fact that you think you have a chance with me is like the worst insult anyone has ever given me.
He's out of your league. I don't need to know anything else. It's very clear that if you're getting offended by somebody approaching you and based on how they look, because obviously this is all about how they look, if that's how you think, then looks is not something that you need to work on. You got plenty of other stuff to work on.
Hell yeah, brother!
I think that this is a great example of how there's a lot of men out there, even in today's day and age, even if it may not seem like it, good men that really want something long-term, something real, and they're hopeless romantics. That's why there's this man running and cheering this man on as he's proposing. And this woman, yeah, her initial response was not the best, but let's face it, that man truly surprised her because she was caught completely off guard. And I think she was saying no because she didn't like her attire and it was being filmed. As a woman, like, I kind of understand that, but ladies, you gotta put that aside. Don't let that ruin the moment. The bottom line, though, is that there's just so many good men out there that really want this. They desire that. Just like this man running by. He wants that. He just needs to find his right woman.
This is your reminder to be gentle with your husbands because I'm currently sitting here with water leaking through our ceiling and it doesn't really affect me, right? I mean, yes, it's terrible and I can help soak up the water, but if I was on my husband, who also has to continue managing a company today, all while also trying to find a solution to fixing the water currently wreaking havoc on our home. So just be gentle with them because they really do have the weight of the world on their shoulders.
The truth is that men will carry the weight of the world on their shoulders for a woman that appreciates it. We need to talk about how toxic the mortgage prank has become because no one is saying it and I don't know how many men are aware of it. So if you're not aware of it, it's this trend where the woman tells her man that she can't pay the mortgage this month. But it's women that don't ever pay the mortgage that started the trend. So of course, all of their husbands react like their wives are declaring the sky blue. Like, duh, they are confused as to why their wives are bringing this up as an issue. But the most toxic part are the hundreds of women in the comments praising these wives for their husbands' reactions. And they're saying, I hope this kind of love finds me. It's like everyone forgets that these same wives get shamed for being a stay-at-home mom or a housewife. But that's not even where this ends because now the 50-50 relationships are doing the trend. And the women in these comments are not liking the husband's reactions because pretty much any solution that these husbands suggest, if it requires any additional effort from his wife, instead of him as the man saying, don't worry, I got it, these men are put through the ringer in the comment section. And I just have to point out the double standard because we all know the same would not be expected of a woman.
I'm always right.
Be careful, the porch is
Fine. Be careful of the porch.
I love this because I think it demonstrates that that relationship is playful and the son is playing into it as well, which means that the whole family dynamic is playful. There's actually research to back up that a playful relationship is way more likely to make it long term compared to someone that doesn't have playfulness in their relationship. And honestly, life is too short. So if you're not with a partner that brings this out in you, you might be with the wrong one.
I posted a video about guys not knowing what they want in their 30s, and let me tell you, the comments have me like shook. The amount of men saying that they don't want to get married because they don't want to have to take care of a woman is like absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, love is dead. It's dead.
For anyone that has listened to men in the last decade, this should not be surprising. Because let's face it, ladies, men are no longer to expect anything from a woman in marriage. Because when they talk about expectations, especially on social media, they get put through the ringer. And that has leaked into the real world. Like, men have a lot to lose when it comes to relationships, especially marriage. They are expected to give without requiring or wanting or asking for anything in return. A lot of men that have experienced that feeling in a real life relationship that he's been through, he has decided to remain single rather than put himself through that again. And honestly, what he sees on social media just reinforces that. It's really only until he finds a good woman in real life, he finds that unicorn, that will ever be broken down. And that does happen occasionally. But for the rest of the guys, they would rather be single.
It's crazy how these modern women will continue to post the same videos over and over again, as if 1,000 videos haven't already been made, as if the same questions haven't already been asked, and men each and every single time be telling them. And then they come back with a response video like, oh man, I didn't even know this was the case. Men, is this the way you feel? Yes, this is what we've been trying to tell you for decades. You're not listening, and men start to ignore you and walk away because y'all act like y'all don't hear nobody.
All I want for Christmas is for men to learn to shut up. Just shut up. Thank you.
Most men are talking because that's what women have said that they wanted. Women have said over and over again, communicate your feelings. Talk to us because that's how we build emotional connection. So you can see why this is a little confusing to men. But hey, be careful what you ask for because most men want this also. So as long as you're willing to reciprocate and you stop talking to him as much as you know you do, you guys you'll make it work. You'll be perfect together. You will just chill in peace, both of you, without needing to talk to each other. You know, you'll probably find other ways to connect. Honestly, I think that you are like the dream to most men then. I mean, look at you. And you don't want him to talk, which means that you don't want to talk to him and ramble to him. Yeah, he's gonna love you.
Friendly PSA to the men of the world, because I don't know if you guys genuinely don't know or if you're just rude. If you're going on a date with a woman, that woman has started preparing for the date hours in advance because of all the stuff that we have to do. You might notice I have a full face of makeup on right now, and that's because I was planning to go on a date in like an hour. The date just texted me and asked to reschedule because he's busy with work. Sir, non-respectfully, I have been planning for this, getting ready for this all day. I've been hydrating. I've been doing skincare. I've been doing a self-tanner. I put a hair mask in my hair this morning. I did my makeup. I haven't done my hair yet. And now you text me and you want to reschedule. And then people want to know why I'm always like dating different people. It's because I just don't have the patience for that. I will never go on a date with this person again. I'm not even being funny or dramatic. Like, this is so rude. It's disrespectful of my time. Now it's too late to do something else. And I'm just stuck with you being a fucking disrespectful.
It is okay to be genuinely disappointed that a date canceled on you. What is not okay is for you to be calling them names over it. And this is the disconnect. While you did all of those things because you were excited, which is a good thing, right? You were excited about this man, so you wanted to put your best foot forward. You did all of these things in preparation. But instead of recognizing that as your emotions and really dealing with that, you put that off onto him. You made him into a bad person. This is exactly what I talk about women doing oftentimes on social media, to put that on a man and then to make a video about him. That is just not okay.
And this is one of the reasons that men stay single. Like she said, it's okay for you to be upset. But when you go flying off the handle, calling men names and trying to put them down and denigrate them, that's when we run into problems. Because if you're talking like that, then we know that you're going to get into the relationship popping off at the mouth and talking crazy whenever you get upset or just whenever you want to say whatever you want to say. This is why men stay single. They don't want to have anything to do with that. Why can't I find a man to court me or to be around me or want to marry me? Why won't men make a commitment? Why they just want to have fun and they just want to hook up? Why can't? Maybe because they see that you can't control your mouth. Love having fun with you. You're beautiful, but I'm not willing to put a ring on something that is undisciplined, just like you. You have a good day.
Something that most ladies continue to refuse to believe is men prefer the left to the right. And look, I'm going to make a different argument here that maybe is going to surprise you. Ladies, you can still do the right because you like to look like the right and you like to impress other ladies. But then when you say that your high expectations for like a first date or just in general for a man is superior because you can look like this, that is based on the fact that it costs so much to do your hair, so much to do the injection, so much on your hair, makeup, and nails. And that's why you think that a man should pay for everything else and that he should put forward all of the effort early on in dating. Well, when you say that, that opens up the argument for that man to be able to say, no, he prefers this over that anyways. So ladies, just be truthful to yourself as to why you're doing the effort to make yourself look like the right one instead of the left one. And stop insulting men when they say they like the left more than the right. I said what I said.
Hey, babe.
Yeah,
Why don't men ever make the first move anymore?
because women want to be men.
No, we don't.
Well, you're so hyper-focused on being a man that men don't want to approach you anymore. It's gross. Men don't care about your independence or high-flying status. We want peace, not chaos that you bring with competition of trying to be better than what we are. We don't offer any value to you anymore if you can have whatever it is that you want. So, if you want to be approached by a man, then you need to learn how to be a woman.
Damn.
If you leave a good man to go and have a phase, don't you dare complain when you can't find a good man in the future. Don't you dare complain. And if you're that guy that got left, you're a fool if you take her back.
You're literally a 10. He's taking the biggest L. And this was a comment left on this video. It was a video of a girl saying, think you're having a bad day? I just got a grown man's mommy to serve me divorce papers. Now, I have literally no idea what happened in this relationship. I'm just using her video as context, but I wanted to prove a point that I've honestly thought for quite a while. In that comment that said, you're literally a 10, he's taking the biggest L. I've seen that comment left on almost every type of video where a girl talks about her breaking up with a boy. Because I think it's very funny because a lot of girls clearly think the only thing that makes someone valuable in a relationship is who is more attractive. Like I saw a video right after I saw this one, and this girl was talking about how her and her boyfriend just broke up, and then every single comment is commenting on his looks. Oh, he was balding. He's hideous. Oh, he's a frog and you're a swan. Like everything is, well, you're hotter than him, so, you win.
The quickest way to make a man step up his game again and actually pursue you again is for you to break the routine and make him uncomfortable. You have to become unpredictable again because clearly this man has gotten very comfortable because you were so convenient and constantly reassuring him that he knows you ain't going anywhere. When a man reaches out to you, he calls, he texts, whatever, do not immediately reply. So you miss his phone call, or when he says, good morning, how's your day going, his text message, you also ignore it. Don't reply, okay? And then maybe after like an hour of receiving the text message or missing the phone call, you're going to message him. You're going to say, hi, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm just busy at work or getting my nails done or getting my hair done, like some insert superficial excuse.
These sorts of games will never convince a good man to spend more effort towards you. The bottom line is that too many women make the mistake of playing these games when they're not getting the amount of attention that they want from a man. But it's actually really hard for a man to know how much attention to put towards a woman. He doesn't want to do too little because you might think that he's not interested. And he definitely doesn't want to do too much because he doesn't want to scare you. He definitely doesn't want to creep you out. This is why it is so important to just communicate your feelings towards him. Because if you like him and he likes you back, he is going to increase efforts. If he doesn't like you, but he knows that you like him, guess what? He's not going to increase his efforts. It's really that simple. For me to hear this one time, it is one time too many for a woman to talk about how she has a feminine urge to tell her man about all of her other options. That is not a feminine urge. It's I'm going to find a way to make you feel like nothing to me in hopes that you come to some twisted epiphany that I am worth everything to you. No, men know their worth, and if you do this to them, they will be gone. Because if there is one thing I know about men, it is that they want to be with somebody that wants them back. So if you go ahead and you show off all of your other options to him, to some degree, you are entertaining all of those options. And now you're trying to pitch them all against him. Like he's going to fight for your attention. Also, what is really important to understand about men is that they can look at a woman and know a woman within 5 minutes. He knows how many options she has out there. Like he knows if she's a unicorn. She could have all the options in the world. But a woman that actually brings those options and shows off those options, he does not care how much of a unicorn that woman is. She actually technically isn't a unicorn if she's even doing that. But either way, no, he's not going to hang around. He will be gone.
All right, open your eyes.
What is this?
Turn around.
Babe, this isn't a Cadillac.
I bought it for you.
Are you messing with me right now?
No, you said this. You wanted an SUV for the family. This is.
I wanted a Cadillac.
This might be an unpopular opinion because there are a lot of women in the comments saying that this man maliciously didn't get his wife what she wanted. And they're saying that this is because the car that he bought and a Cadillac is actually within the same price range. And we all know that's like the number one thing that dictates what car you end up getting. It's what can you afford? But hear me out. Maybe, just maybe, that man thought that he had picked out a better car for his wife and for his kids. Or maybe there were just no brand new white Cadillacs available in the area that they live, so this was the closest thing to it. Maybe the options on that car were a lot better. But here this man is. He has bought his wife a brand new car, and she does not seek any of that information in order to better understand why he didn't get her the Cadillac. And unfortunately, you can really hear the hurt in that man's voice. This is something that women do not want to hear, but most men will totally agree with. When a man goes to his woman to tell her that he is losing physical attraction, maybe because she's gained weight or has cut her hair or doesn't wear makeup or nice clothing anymore, the majority of the time she positions that issue as a him problem. He's being mean, superficial, unsupportive, and maybe as far as his fault. It is very rare, I don't think it ever happens, where a woman will actually take in that information and make changes to her lifestyle, which that can be her prerogative, but I think the interesting thing is that this is not what happens when men are presented with the same information. I've literally watched men make changes to their lifestyle in order to improve their physical features to make their wife more happy. Do you guys see this difference too?
First of all, if you're going to tell your wife that you're losing physical attraction to her but haven't asked how her day was in 3 years, then you already have a problem. And let's be clear, she's not saying that it's necessarily your fault. She's saying, how dare you criticize her when you don't give her any opportunity to prioritize herself. She can't take care of her. She's always taking care of you. And this woman specifically mentions women who stop wearing makeup, doing their hair, or wearing nice clothes. But when do you expect her to put makeup on when the kids have to get ready for school, the dogs have to go outside, and the husband lost his briefcase for the 3rd time this week?
I'm pretty sure that a feminist has never proven my point so eloquently. Proof that if a man starts losing physical attraction, a woman will make it out to be his fault. It's why there's like 0 men, at least living men, that have actually verbalized this to his woman. Because he already knows it will never help the situation. The most that he really can do is support the time to herself and positive reinforcement. My biggest point of the video is the obvious double standard. Where roles reverse, a man will take accountability for his lifestyle choices, and he will make changes, and the woman will not be accused of not loving her man.
Exactly. They're going to hit you with the if he wanted to, he would nonsense. Well, he makes time. A person that loves you is going to make time. He's going to drill out some time for you. And that's just the way it is. If you have kids, if you have other things, we're all busy. We all have things to do. But a man that loves you will go through hell and high water. He will move heaven and earth just to get with you. And if he's not making changes for you, if he's not solving your problem, then that man actually hates you. But he says, okay, I'll change myself. I saw somebody in the comments said, somebody told me one day, I think he said my wife told me one day she liked my shirt. I continue to wear that shirt over and over again. I wore it frequently because she said she liked it. I'm doing it because it makes you happy. Didn't mention anything else about anything else going on. She likes it. I'm going to try to do it. Kids this, house that. I got to go mow the lawn. I'm going to make a point. When the clothes are washed, I'm wearing this shirt. When the clothes are washed again, I'm going to wear this shirt. It's going to be at the top of the drawer. But what you're saying is, well, just give me some time to myself and da-da-da. Maybe you scale back on. The lesson here is efficiency on your time, and you missed it. Okay, I've got the kids. I got to do this. I got to do that. Maybe you can't sit there for 2 or 3 hours to do the makeup. Maybe now you have 10 minutes to do the makeup when the kids are playing outside or watching TV. You telling me you can't sit the kids down in front of that iPad for about 5 to 10 minutes, do your makeup? Oh, you look pretty, honey. Yeah, it's 10-minute look routine. They got YouTube videos on that. Guess what you can do while you're taking your kids to school, or you're on your way back from taking your kids to school? You can watch a 10-minute video on the way to your next gig. Time management skills that y'all keep saying that y'all have. But please keep on making excuses as to why you can't fulfill the man's desires, but he needs to fulfill yours, come hell or high water.
I might not have the energy to slide into this video because I'm recovering from the flu. It's been honestly terrible. But we need to talk about the man that wanted pizza on his birthday from a very particular pizza shop that was 4 hours away. Have you guys seen this video? What happened? He ended up going on a full-on trip with his wife and kids and did everything but forget this pizza. So I guess they came in on like a Friday night and they got to the hotel and then they just decided to eat something else. And then the next day they did all of the kids stuff, like everything that the kids wanted to do. And then for lunch, she ended up saying she wanted to have Paula Deen's restaurant because she's never been there before. They go to Paula Deen, right? Because that's what men do all too often, right? They sacrifice what they want, what they've been talking about, because you know what? People want to just say something one time, that they want something one time, and it should be held in high esteem, especially when it's for their birthday. He had said what he really wanted, and what did they do? They didn't do what he wanted. They did what she wanted. This came at the exact right time for me while I was gone, and I want to see if it makes me look more alive, because I don't feel that way. So anyways, at the end of the trip, on the way back home, was when she finally said to her husband, "Oh, yeah, let's stop at that pizza shop now. That sounds good." Guess what? He was over it. I don't blame him. He was over it. He didn't want to go anymore. Because guess what? You did everything else on his birthday. And then you thought that just 1 or 2 days later, then you could give him what he wanted. It does actually feel great. I guess my point is, ladies, is that birthday celebrations is not a feminine thing. Like, guys want to be celebrated too. They want to be able to do the things that they want to do on their birthday. And when they verbalize something like that to you, like, you should prioritize that thing. That's all. Have a good day.
I still stand by the fact that my husband is the ugliest man that I have ever met 5 years into our marriage. If you are single right now, it's because you want to be attracted to your partner, and that is just not realistic. I don't know how many times women on this app are going to have to say it. Find an ugly ass man and marry him. And I'm not talking about a guy that just needs a little brush up, okay? I'm talking about a terminally unattractive man. I sleep with an eye mask at night so that I have time in the morning to mentally prepare before I make eye contact with my husband. But here I am, married, and you're not, so who's laughing?
This is not what you think it is, because your husband wants you to be attracted to him. He doesn't want to hear that his wife has to wear an eye mask in order to prepare herself to see him in the morning. That's wild. And it's not like the stories where the woman meets a man and she's not initially attracted to him, but because she gets to know him and his personality and then like things happen. That really does happen. But that means that she becomes physically attracted to him. It does not mean that she has to talk herself and mentally prepare herself to see him. And a huge part of why he needs you to be attracted to him is because he wants to enjoy husband and wife things, especially in the bedroom, and he wants you to be into it. And if you're not into it, listen up, ladies, because I cannot say this loudly enough. He does not want it.
The audacity that I have to suggest that a man can alter his face, fucking jawline, chin, even their cheekbones, that they look like completely different people. I mean, but it's natural. Couldn't be a beard fish. Ladies, if you meet a man and you first start dating, Ask him for a picture without the beard.
This is the thing about double standards that men cannot stand. Because here's a woman recommending to other women to ask for photo evidence of what that man looks like without a beard. First of all, that's just weird. And second of all, we all know how you ladies would react if roles reversed. Like if he asked you for photo evidence of what you look like with not an inch of makeup and with no filters. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we know how that would go over. Even if we just saw a video on TikTok come up where a man is suggesting to other men to ask a lady that he's interested in for photo evidence for how she looks. That is why this double standard is so frustrating to men.
The most frustrating thing about men is the fact that they refuse to acknowledge when they are being flirted with. They'll go, "You're so handsome," and they just go, they look so confused to the point where you're like, they obviously want nothing to do with me. That's okay. Won't do that again. And later you find out they liked you the whole time. So, what?
Men are not purposely refusing to acknowledge being flirted with. Because trust me, even 99% of the time, a man that thinks that maybe you're flirting with him will absolutely, genuinely talk himself out of it. And a lot of women do not understand this because they don't understand the reasons. But there are some reasonable reasons as to why he talks himself out of it. For one, men have a lot more at stake when they think that you're flirting with him, but he ends up being wrong. Such as being embarrassed, offending a woman, getting called a creep, possibly even being insulted by her. These are all pretty negative things that a man would like to avoid. And if this happens enough times, he will not be able to rely on any sort of intuition that he has on the subject. With that being said, the bottom line, ladies, is that men have said time and time again that they want you to be super clear with them because they don't get hints. Stop trying to be smooth or coy and just tell him that you're interested in him. Believe me.
My husband is an absolute genius. Let me show you what he did in our basement. Last year, we were finishing the ceiling in our basement, and we have these eye joists. We did not want a drop-down ceiling, but we did want an accessible ceiling. Like any other DIYer, we scoured the internet looking for a solution, but we didn't find anything that we liked. Until one day when this guy came up with a genius idea. He said, why don't we just cut pieces of drywall to fit in between each eye joist because the lip on the eye joist will hold it. My phone doesn't do it any justice, but this is the finished ceiling in our movie theater room.
The best thing about this is it's accessible. So just to show how it's accessible, these are just like panels, like a drop-down ceiling. Comes right out of there just like so.
I love this because this is a wife that truly appreciates her husband. And you can just tell by the look on his face that he is just like being super humble, but he loves the fact that his wife is appreciating him and that she's showing him off. Like she's just so excited to do that. And that ceiling does look really good.
I love this video because this woman is using her social media for good. She's talking about how she enjoys the genius of her husband. Not a lot of modern women do that. Instead of using it to praise and support their husband and highlight the good things that he does, they spend all of their time trashing their husband. Oh, he didn't do that. Girl, if he's doing this for you, he hates you. If he's not doing it, he hates you. He absolutely doesn't like you. And they put that on the internet and they never take it down. I could see if you had a fit of rage, which I don't agree with, putting it up there and embarrassing because people will clip that and stitch that, and even though you delete the video. But I can see if you say, man, you know what, that was me tripping. I'm so sorry. And I know there are stitches out there, but I'm doing my part to try to take it down because that was a stupid move on my part. They don't even do that. They'll put that stuff out there in the atmosphere, have that man looking like an idiot. And some of these women have hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers. And they didn't put that stupid stuff out there, making the husband look bad, making the boyfriend and the man look bad. And people come up to that man trying to hem him up, trying to get on his case while he's in the middle of, guess what, doing something for her. Oh, how dare you treat her like that? You're a piece of garbage. While that man is getting chicken noodle soup for her and she's sick at the house. That's what men got to go through. And y'all leave those videos up. No positive messages for your husband, nothing. So to see this, I appreciate it.